instructors, members, friends, boys and girls. Just a few housekeeping details. If you haven't done so already, you can check the program in your bag provided regarding today's proceedings. And I apologise that in the excitement some people were given child bags, but you can exchange those for adult bags afterwards. I'd just like to emphasise that when His Holiness arrives, please stand and remain at your seat. It is very important that when His Holiness concludes speaking, after standing, please remain at your seat for safety and security reasons. You will be able to view his arrival and departure on the television monitors. Toilet facilities are located through the main entrance and on the southern side of the building, and dignitaries' access is through the restricted area. In the unlikely case that we need to make an emergency exit, you will be guided by security and volunteer officials through the exits to assemble in the park opposite the temple. Please check that your mobile phones are turned off or on silent. As we have designated photographers, the taking of photos isn't permitted in the Gompa, including from mobiles, iPads, etc. Information regarding the availability of photos and the commemorative DVD will be made available in due course via email and our website. So now it's my great pleasure to hand you over to the representative of our beloved founder and spiritual mentor, Kabje Khensu Kangara Lobsang Tumtum Rinpoche, Nawan Tuktum Tenzin. Thank you.
So I would like to thank you for today, one of the very highlight events, in our life, in my life, and for TBI. So I would like to to bring Rinpoche on Skype, but I'm not sure how successful it might be but we have problems, But anyway, I would like to introduce Rinpoche in Skype, and Rinpoche is going to come now. We might be in a very short because His Holiness also already arrived in the airport, okay? First of all, Rinpoche would like to say lots of Tashidele for all the Sangha guests and also the dignitaries here, VIP, and also the members and the friends of TBI. Rinpoche would like to say Tashidele. And this is a very special day. You all imagine this eminent of Avalokiteshvara, Chenresik, body of compassion, which is arriving here, and we are so fortunate for all of us. And Rinpoche said His Holiness give a speech, and you think it's a very fortunate and to listen, and how fortunate you are, and listen the teaching, and also to to practice and enjoy the teaching. And through our practice, we will gain in our oneself and also benefit many other beings. Okay, Tashidele. Very good.
Dutare Ture Soha.
Om Tare Dutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Dutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Dutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Dutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Dutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Dutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Dutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Dutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Dutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Dutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Dutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Dutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Dutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Dutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Dutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Dutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Dutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Dutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Dutare Ture Soha. Om Tare Dutare Ture Soha.
Om Ji Zuma Pama Duma La Chazalu Chanza Duma Tarepang Tuda Rai Jikusema Ture Dönam Tamjetema Soha Yegi Chela Rabdi.
Om Tare Dutare Ture Soha. 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 Om Tare Dutare
在那个枪子个我当我去这个十个八个当我记住伊朗个国情个少个一个给我个中华是个他个解释个八个他们这他个迁就迁啊哦。
then okay. Then okay. 가요, 개입해. 다 참아서, 단 청안신부자연이 심재동에 사지에서 깨워져와 삼이 최든자진 쇼교로지 청안신부자연이 심재동에 깨워져와 삼이에서 최든자진 쇼교로지 청안신부자연이 심재동에 깨워져와 삼이에서 최든자진 쇼교로지 얘기해. 네. 딘지로. 어때? 건조 로산 투데메.
On behalf of Techin Chedjub Churling, Tibetan Buddhist Institute, your most devoted heart son and our precious founder and spiritual guide, Kapje Khensu Kanguru Lobsang Tupten Rinpoche, His representative Chanzo Nawan Tupten, the Management Committee, benefactors, members and friends, we most humbly welcome you. Your Holiness, an address from our precious Khensu Rinpoche. Leader of gods and men, in front of the high throne of the lotus feet of the wish-fulfilling protector and refuge, bearer of saffron, endowed with the three holy outer objects of refuge and innumerable divine arms. I, Sarah J. Kongu Lobsang Tupten, whose three doors are imbued with veneration within the essence of a single-pointed entreaty, utter over and over again from the depths of my heart that the blissful visit of the protector, who is a great treasure of compassion, to the Tibetan Dharma Centre, Techin Chedjub Churling, a Dharma park for the explanation and realisation of the great vehicle in Adelaide, in keeping with the previous request, is a great and peerless occasion of merit and benevolence. On that occasion, despite a fervent wish to gain an audience with the protector, who is meaningful to behold, and despite submitting a petition to that effect in the capital Delhi, the requisite travel documents were not issued. Nothing ensured, and I was deeply forlorn. Since in this year my humble self is unable to encounter him while prostrating, I beseech him without the slightest affectation, and at present with veneration, hoping that he shall not think my humble self forward, I entreat, pray, impart advice out of great loving compassion to these fortunate officials and students on a summarised essence of how to practice during one cycle of 24 hours. Essentially, may the lifespan of the protector and refuge of the woebegone Tibetans, both in exile and in their homeland, be firm for 100 eons. Swiftly may he rest his feet happily on the golden throne of the Patola Palace in the land of Tibet, accompanied by the countless prayers that the day of the joyful and happy reunion of the Tibetans in exile and in their homeland may dawn swiftly. May by my humble self's life stream extend until then. I make single-pointed entreaties to enjoy insatiably the nectar of speech without separation throughout all lives, from the present one until the attainment of enlightenment. I offer with faith, veneration and delight the three doors, which are the basis of offering, as well as the collection of virtue of the three times, set out physically on top of a precious mandala and the ceremonial scarf as a substitute. Proffered with reverent prostrations of body, speech and mind by the humble disciple Kongu Lobsang Tupten on the 15th day of the water snake year of the Tibetan World Year, the 25th of May 2013 in the Western calendar, Khensu Kanguru Lobsang Tupten.
Thank you. 그래, 서로 그래. 이제.
Your Holiness, great treasure of infinite compassion, happiness and refuge, embracing all sentient beings. With bowed head and palms together, I most humbly give you the details of Kapje Khensu Kanguru Lobsang Tupten Rinpoche's sponsorship scheme that he founded in 1989. Beginning with a few monks, the scheme has grown to encompass nuns and lay Tibetans in India and 2 nunneries and Jaltan School in Tibet. Collectively, we now sponsor 1,100 Tibetans and have sent a total of over 2.2 million Australian dollars to Tibet and India over the past 24 years. The global financial crisis has made a huge dent in the number of sponsors we have, but the number is slowly beginning to climb. One of Gen Rinpoche's major projects has been Jaltan School in Tibet. Rinpoche raised funds to build 8 classrooms fitted out with desks, chairs and chalkboards, giving his children a more conducive learning environment. He raised additional funds to provide an electricity generator for heating and lighting. He also launched a clothing appeal so that all children receive warm clothing, as well as a breakfast fund so that every child started their day at school with a hot meal. Another important project is the Emergency Medical Fund that provides assistance to the lay Tibetan community surrounding Sera Monastery and includes wheelchairs, hospitalisation, medicines, amongst other medical needs. For as long as Tenzin and I are able, we will continue to carry on this great work that Khensa Kangyu Rinpoche started. Thank you, Your Holiness.
Well, wonderful. 그래서 자랑. 그렇죠. So, spiritual brothers and sisters, and also respected senior monk and nuns. Indeed, I am very happy. I found this is some kind of atmosphere. The Kishila, a lot today, not here, but his sort of was there. His spirit very much present here. And you all people, I think, carry sort of his wish, his spirit. So generation eventually disappear. I often is telling people, like since Buddha come, since Nagarjuna come, and also now in this case, since Lama Tsongkhapa came, now many generations passed. They are physical no longer there, but their teaching, their message, still very alive. So that's the way the carry the sort of teaching or tradition on their sort of their advice. So here you see you carry Kishila's sort of wish, and then I want to tell you, you see you helped a lot. Perhaps maybe a little because of the presumptuous I think our main concern is preservation of Tibetan Buddhism and Buddhist tradition, Buddhist culture. I usually make distinction, Buddhism and Buddhist culture, like Christianity, Christian culture. Culture related with the whole community. Religion related with the individual. So like it's a Tibetan case, Tibetan Muslim. So their religion is Islam, not Buddhism. But there is a way of life very much in the spirit of Buddhist culture. So now here, firstly, Buddhism, Tibetan Buddhism, directly related with a Nalanda master, Shandarakshita. I think 7th century, 8th century, I think he was one of the topmost sort of the masters or scholars. So he invited by Tibetan emperor with Pema Sambhava, yes, with Pema Sambhava. I think firstly Shandarakshita came, then Pema Sambhava joined. So the public sort of teaching and also give ordination. And also I think the translation work, mainly, you see, led by Shandarakshita. When he reached Tibet, Lhasa, his age, according Indian historian, his age already over 75. So imagine an old Indian great scholar and then go to Tibet, not easy. Climatically also, you see, very cold and very high altitude. So at least in India, because bull cars are the langogari, what do you call? Block cars. But that cannot use in Tibet. So only ride yaks and horse or mules are like that. Even I, quite young, then is a young person, the long riding, sometimes some pain here. that old Indian master, I think, must be find very difficulties. And then I think it is quite clear, the Tibetan Buddhist tradition, you see, we very much emphasize the study about the different sort of philosophical sort of views, and also you see study about Buddhist epistemology. Whereas Chinese Buddhist tradition, not much emphasis about the Buddhist epistemology. Because the Shanda Rakshita himself, great logician. So logically, since this is such great logician, you see, introduce, carry sort of the teaching to his student. So naturally, you see, he want his student, not only one generation, but generation to generations, because of that, become like himself. And then afterward, I think in the 9th century, Kamalashila, you see, came, according to Shanda Rakshita's sort of instruction. So these both, judging their writing, these two truly great thinker, great philosopher, and great logician. So now today, myself, now over 54 years since we become refugee. Now last is 50 years, I had sort of a number of occasions, meeting or discussion with many Buddhists from different part of Buddhist, different part, right? The different Buddhist traditions of Buddhist countries. You Vietnamese, and also Korean, or Japanese, and Chinese, and Burmese, Thais, Cambodian, Laotian, Sri Lanka, like that. So then I found I think one example, when I met some Sri Lanka bhikshu. Yes, we have common sort of practice about Vinaya, and then also the different sort of practice according kasati mean Vabashek kasat Shama Vabasheka sort of the tradition. We have common sort of knowledge, common experience, and common practice. And then when I met some Chinese Buddhist, again, we have or Chinese or Japanese or Vietnamese, we have the same sort of common sort of practice. The Panchaparamita Sutra, and then also Bodhisattva vow, or these things are common. And then even it's Tantrayana, Triya Tantrayana, Upa Tantrayana, Yoga Tantrayana, in Chinese tradition there. So these are our common practice. Perhaps I think one Sri Lankan Buddhist monk and one Chinese Buddhist meeting, I think much less common practice. So So when we met, you see, both the tradition, yes, common practice there. That means Tibetan practice is more sort of today, more complete sort of practice like that. And then, so now, obviously, Buddhism, I think the non-Buddhist countries, I think all over the world, I think the impression about Buddha Shakyamuni is Buddha is one teacher of non-violence or symbol of non-violence or compassion. Like in modern time, Mahatma Gandhi, when we heard Gandhi, immediately we get some kind of feeling of non-violence. So, Buddha Shakyamuni also is like that. And then his teaching, I think one sort of also the quotation, Buddha stated to his follower, "O my follower, monks and scholars or nuns should not accept my teaching out of faith, but rather out of thorough investigation and experiment." So all those, including Chandra Rakshita, all those Nalanda masters, strictly follow the Buddha that sort of advice. So they always investigate. Even Buddha's own teaching, Buddha's own word, they carry sort of investigation, whether that teaching can accept literally or not. So therefore, you see, Buddhist way of approach is more based on more investigation rather than faith. So that in modern time, so that approach is quite a modern way of approach. And anyway, since it's a Buddhism, they like other Jainism and also the Sankhya philosophy, I think there is no concept of creator, of God. That does not mean disrespect the concept of God. But you see, it is own tradition or philosophical sort of field, no idea of concept, because of concept of God, creator. So the religion with concept of creator, then religion come from there, from God. The religion which no concept of creator, then religion start from this level. Buddha himself, originally one ordinary sentient being. Then through his own practice, with help of teachers, then eventually he became Buddha. So therefore, you see, Buddhism, you see, a lot of explanation about present our emotions, our mind. In order to transform our emotion, we must have fuller knowledge about the system of emotion. So a lot of explanation about emotion, about mind. So that part, now modern scientists, particularly medical scientists and also brain specialists, now they really now showing interest, you see, to get more information from Buddhist literature. Not take as a Buddhist practice, but simply information about mind. So that's something common. So therefore, the preservation of Tibetan Buddhist tradition, I think really worthwhile preserve. This is not sort of preservation of Buddhist religion, but Buddhist concept and Buddhist also the knowledge about mind, emotion, I think something quite useful. So worthwhile to preserve. Then Buddhist culture. I usually describe Buddhist culture is culture of non-violence, culture of peace. And ultimately, peace and non-violence related with compassion. So Buddhist culture can describe culture of compassion. So, irrespective whether believer or non-believer, within believer, what belief, that belief, this believer, that belief, doesn't matter. This is so long. Actually, all sort of major world. Oh, now take tea. 당연히 쳐봐야 돼. 저는 등게 저 천천 알아? 신인수는 저도 뭐로 저저 천천 라마 나라 저거 이 작자시가 산지순대 되게 더니 다은 거는 송도가 타로 또는 人人让了吃我就搞了吧，是吧？是在真正那边俺让做了呀，俺让做了呀，这个他说上个查经也不的呀，呀谁都能给我的，做等于当个就说是小了吧，实际上真正人人了吃完没有就动过的。So the preservation of Tibetan culture, I think, firstly, about 14 millions of human beings and sort of Kasoda, including Tibet and the surrounding Kasoda Tibet, whole Himalayan range, and then north, Inner Mongolia, Outer Mongolia, and also some republics in Russian Federation. I think altogether, at least 13, 14 millions. Then China. Nowadays, you see, according to some survey carried by one university in Peking, what is the Buddhist population in China? That 3 years ago, you see, this report come. That report say in China, 3 years ago, the Buddhist population about 300 millions. Then that report also say majority of these, many Buddhists, Chinese Buddhists are, educated. Some education, not farmers like that. And then among these Chinese Buddhists, many of them showing genuine interest about Tibetan Buddhism. So preservation of Tibetan Buddhism and Tibetan Buddhist culture, I think eventually immense benefit to those in the big country, to those people in China, 1.3 billion Chinese population. So traditionally China is a Buddhist country. So you see, in the past, including some Chinese emperors, used to follow Tibetan Buddhism. Now modern time, you see, from Tibetan Buddhism to a Buddhist culture, you see, can help, can serve millions of Chinese. So therefore, this is really worthwhile to preserve. So I very much appreciate. Now, there are some indication. Now the Chinese, the communist leaders, some of them, their family follow Buddhism and also Tibetan Buddhism. According to some information, they say that. And among many Chinese intellectuals, many Chinese businessmen, and also some party leader, very much sort of interest about Buddhism. like that. So there are indications, some sort of positive change may come. Of course, too early to say definite, like that. So these sort of background, and I very much appreciate. You see here, Australia, basically a non-Buddhist country, Judo-Christians, like Western sort of Christian culture country, and religion also is mainly Christian. How many Jews in Australia? Not many. Jew. And not many Muslim. So basically it's a Christian country. So I always is telling the people from sort of the different traditional sort of background, it is much safer to preserve your own tradition, including your own traditional religious faith. However, among millions of people, like Tibetan, 99% Buddhist, but there are Tibetan Muslims. So similarly, I think since late 19th century, some Tibetan Christians also there. One time, one single Tibetan Christian in Dharamsala, he wanted to build some church. So it is fact. The majority of people use a different religion, but among them, some individual sort of different interest. So, among millions of people, some, due to their different mental disposition, showing or sort of feel Buddhist way of approach is more more suitable, more effective. So now I think our center is never imposed by one individual Kishi, but it's the local people showing interest. Then those lamas, Kishis find some opportunity. So you see, I think most of the sincere Kishi, like Lord today, I know. I always teaching him. Very nice person, good scholar and good monk. Like him, I know really sincere motivation. No self-interest. But some lamas, you see, when they find opportunity, their main intention is exploitation. And then also sometimes promote their own name. I think there's danger, me, Dalai Lama also, you see, there's danger to promote my own name unless I watch from time to time about my motivation. Otherwise, there's tendency, danger like that. So therefore, I really very much appreciate, you see, this some small center. Now, important is the center should be learning center, not just some prayer or some ritual, but some sort of, from time to time, is those people who have interest, then some discussions, then some sort of explanation. Recently, I was in Ladakh last year, and also see in the past a few occasions also I expressed. Now every monastery now should become learning center, so that ordinary people, whenever they heard name of monastery, they should have the impression, now that's learning center. That's, I think, very important. Now, for example, when we heard Nalanda, we never felt it's one monastery and monk together and some meditation, some prayer, or some sort of meal, rare, or some offering. We never sort of felt when we heard Nalanda. Nalanda, simply learning center, academic center. So like I think Devu Monastery, Sera Monastery, Kandan Monastery, all those bigger monasteries, when we heard that, we immediately get the impression, these are learning center. Buddhist study, not just a few weeks or a few months or a few years, 20, 30 years, I think a lot today, I think at least 30 years, I think study. So most of the top scholars, they spend at least 20, 30, 40 years study. Very, very rigorous study. So therefore, this sort of center is actually learning center, academic center. So now, our Buddhist center, Tibetan Buddhist center here in India, I think keep in your mind the more emphasis study. And then morning and occasionally some meditation, these things automatically, because of that, naturally, you see, we'll have. And then, but main sort of what's the purpose is learning, explaining. And then also there, as I mentioned earlier, Buddhist psychology, I think immense benefit. So eventually, you see, this center, you see, used for study, for education, mainly about mind or emotion. Then some, you see, non-Buddhist, non-believer who have some interest about mind, about the emotion, they also come here and study. So this is not only learning center for Buddhism, but learning center of human mind. That, I think, can be very useful, clear. So that's my suggestion. So that's all. Now time to come, rest. Then decision. This is it. On the dress. Shasa Rojan de Be Yetro, legend in it was, Tabapu and Draw, the dog and John de Things are la Cheva show. This are. Can talk daily in Loks Shimita? Loks Shinso, can talk. Ha. Losumju. Thomas Lama Sebekung Shayombe. Lama Sebekung. Can go to them pearl touch symbol. Ka. Can she move about pearl? That's Jumbe. Majum. You Vietnamese are refugee, isn't it? Refugee. You escaped from Vietnam. Originally from North Vietnam or South. Saigon area. That's right. So possibility, visit your own country nowadays. Can you go? Can you visit? Recent years, when I give some lecture on Buddhism, some Vietnamese from Vietnam come. So I think since last 2 years, I had sort of a program, the lecture on Buddhism for Vietnamese Buddhist. So with Vietnamese sort of a translation, like that. So these Vietnamese really very, very faithful. They often, you see, they're not satisfied just shaking hand, but they hold my hand, then they force, you see, put on their own head, like that.
That's a blessing.
But once the Tibetan Lama, sometime, you see, in Tibet, I think maybe 20s, 30s maybe, one old Lama, one monastery, a little bit distance. You see, that monastery and the public, that area, requested that Lama, please come to our place and give teaching. Then a Lama responded, now I'm too old, I cannot teach. Then they consulted the people, the monks, and also the community, representative of the community, asked Lama, now just your presence and some blessing, like that. So that's enough. Then finally, that old Lama accepted and visit there. Then he gave long teaching. Then he mentioned, na tukjingi lakpa ting gol shani chawa terken mendas. Ne chawa thabya ki lam ten chawa thabar singeni ma do tukjingi lakpa gol shani chawa terken mendas.
So this Lama said that he was not someone who actually tries to lead others to liberation by actually placing this suffering hand, the samsaric suffering hand on others' head, by giving teaching to others.
According to Buddhist teaching, this very sort of body is a samsaric sort of body, sort of impure. So hand of that impure body, just put on head, never give salvation. No? Salvation only, you see,
Developing knowledge.
Through knowledge, through practice. So he mentioned, I'm not that kind of Lama who gives the suffering, the part of suffering bodies or and something give them and give blessing. He don't believe that. And so you see, he gives sort of teaching, lengthy teaching. So that Lama is Amdo, not Kamba. So I also Amdo, not Kamba. So Amdo must follow previous wonderful Amdos. 그래서 너희봐, 이 아주 참 배지 멋진 거, 그냥 멋진 게 나면은 아주 고마운 캠보 유명한 세월에 말해, 괜히 잔이시라 멋진 거, 랑 멋진 거 정도에 저상가 잔이시라게 많이 당냐마 나 토마베 로축숨리야 대부분 추슈체 아니 이게 gembe리 줄이야 이게 가서다 맹갈람의 신체니 이게 gembe리를 축수 드라저 침버리 아니 gembe리 젤리야 신체 상스탄체 제버리 되도 랑갈로 축숨다 되도 나 이게 gembe리 조드잖아요 괜찮으실라 뺏으면서 대셔 이제 되는 건 무엇인지 저는 이거 괜찮으실라 대장식은 이 기술이 용되고 다들 남지 점으로 제시해야되지. 이런 장식이라 그 보셔를 셔제. 별이 캐바 있는 암도 입에 캡셔. 진짜 알아 가봐서 다보스게 때리면 누가. 야, 제다이 제들 땡큐.
Nam chenki chusini ki huti ngai za we lama kya wa tin jing ya so phe bang so nam chenki chusini ki huti chi de de bun chen bu ngan su di ki thun du chani the mu ja ne zabuling du phe so Lo ni chela ki beni ma sha yo lo ni chela ki beni ma sha yo ki beni ma sha tu rang yu chola lo do ki beni ma sha tu rang yu chola lo do ai ta we la ma kya wa tin jing kya to ngai ta we lama kya wa tin jing ya to ngai ta we lama kya wa tin jing ya to ngai ta we lama kya wa tin jing ya to Nam chenki chusini ki uti ngai za we lama kya wa tin jing ya so pe bang su nam chenki chusini ki uti ming me tu chi tenki kya we pe bang yong ne lang ni the mu ja ne ko sum ku la pu Lo ni chela ki beni ma sha yo lo ni chela ki beni ma sha yo ki beni ma sha tu rang yu chola lo do ki beni ma sha tu rang yu chola lo do ai ta we lama kya wa tin jing ya to ngai ta we lama kya wa tin jing ya to ngai ta we lama kya wa tin jing ya to ngai ta we lama kya wa tin jing ya to
A heartfelt thank you to the Triple Gem, to His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama, to our beloved founder and spiritual guide, Kabja Khenso Kanguru Lobsam Tumtum Rinpoche, to our esteemed Sangha, to all our teachers and all holy beings everywhere, to Kapje Khensu Kangur Rinpoche's representative, Nawan Tubden, Tenzin, to the representative of Charles Sturt Council, to the management committee, contributing businesses and organisations, and finally to you, the countless benefactors, members, volunteers, supporters, friends who have been so generous with your finances, skills, time and prayers. There are just too many to thank individually. Let's rejoice together in the vast ocean of merit created and dedicated for the elimination of the suffering of all beings everywhere and their realisation of ultimate, unsurpassed happiness. So please join us for some light refreshments and have a browse through the TBI shop where the beautiful potted flowers from the celebrations will be available for purchase, and we hope to see you again. Thank you.
Om Mani Padme Hum.